Hi there, this is Mike Smalley with Elderly Instruments. We took a trip to the Martin Guitar Factory in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Our rep, Brendan Hackett, showed us around. We saw from start to finish how these amazing guitars are built. We started in the sawmill.
Welcome to the sawmill. This is where everything begins. Of course, it begins in the forest, and there's a lot of processes that happen before the wood gets here. But this is where it starts for us. Got a bunch of fingerboard material here. They're stickered to make sure that there's constant airflow between these pieces of wood. So even when they're just sitting, rather than having them dead piled and having no moisture being relieved from that wood, you at least have the opportunity to get some of that out while it's being stickered. Certified mahogany, certified SIPO. Over here on the other side, we see the burlap bags that Indian rosewood is stacked in, and that's how we receive it from India. There's a bunch of pieces in here. So these might be fingerboard blanks. They're oversized, so we're going to do the final processing. But all of the backs, all of the sides, fingerboards, bridges, they're coming in these bags. There's a couple of cool machines back here for making ribbon lining. I'll show you a piece right here, but this is all cut out on these machines. So it's triangulated, cut into strips, and also kerfed all on one machine. Here's ribbon lining material before it goes through the machine. So we'll get 4 pieces of ribbon lining out of one of these pieces of cedar. This is Guatemalan rosewood that they're cutting down into usable sizes, and then they're going to send it over here to a saw called a resaw. And these are going to get turned into back and side, so obviously they need to be pretty thin. We'll get them down to about 130 thousandths or so before we do some sanding. Some mahogany parallelograms that are used because it's the best shape for maximizing the wood coming out for a neck. You'll see a bunch of drawings on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 necks. They'll take this parallelogram over to one of these saws, and now you see the outline on the neck here. So you have a raw neck billet that's ready to go onto a CNC machine and be shaped. So after the wood comes in and it's been cut and processed, gone through its drying process, whichever that is, because it can vary by species. Then it comes in here into an acclimating room so that this room is perfect temperature and humidity. Well, a lot of the wood is still going to sit for a period of time before it gets used in production, but a much shorter period of time. So this might be, depending on the species, this could be 1 month or 2 months or 6 months worth of a piece of wood. We're also doing a lot of inspection in here for any defects or cracks or anything that could be there, and then also graded. You're making sure the really high flame koa is going on this pile and the lightly flamed is going on this pile. We've got some sets here on the table. These are match sets. We'll see those come together. Part of that inspection process is they're making a recommendation on every piece of wood as to what size it could be. So we know that this can at least fit a dreadnought. Doesn't mean that we couldn't make a 00 out of it, but it at least fits a dreadnought. If it were a little bit longer, we know we could do a 12-fret dreadnought or something a little bit bigger. But generally they're going to be marked out for dreadnought, and then they can be remarked for a specific model. We'll do a little of the NAFTA trick so you can see what happens to the grain as we get a better sense of what that piece of wood is going to look like under finish. And this will just flash off, so it's not damaging the wood. But that's your best indicator at that moment. But like you said, the final is where it's really at, because this is just one layer. When you get to gloss, that's several mils in thickness, and that changes light refraction and the effect of the illusion on the wood. So in the old days, they had a little block that would pin on here. I think it had like little nails in it, and it would pin into here, but they would hold it like this, and they would spray it by hand. So on an old guitar, there's no finish from about the 15th fret forward, or it's kind of blended. And that's why there's finish missing on the fingerboard on an authentic. That's an authentic feature. This, long time ago, somebody decided, let's put these in. It goes on a rod as it goes through finishing, and that way the entire neck and fingerboard assembly are getting sprayed, at least on the edges, not on the top. And you can see the rough diamond. So on the CNC machine, this is roughed in, but it's really rough. This entire area, the whole transition from barrel into headstock is pretty rough right now. So this is a lot of the focus on the work that they'll do in the factory when they're sanding the necks, is getting that. Yeah, it's all hand done.